Having healthy habits of drinking healthy cool beverages, maybe ice cubed, eating a huge variety of interesting fruits and vegetables that are rich in water and vitamins, giving a feeling of nourishing yourself well, exercising, for example, going for walks, to the gym, doing exercises at home, stretching out, finding ways to express emotions through writing, art, music, etc. Anything and everything that makes you feel well in your own organism, body. When the pendulum swings back and forth through past cultural and historical events, it likewise swings through the present, pulling up loosened stuck potential, changing reality through the present, swing into the future, paving the way for the future you are wanting to manifest, what you want to accomplish and make a future reality. Though a difficult process, also very interesting and amazing, knots are loosened, potential freed, your future gradually starts manifesting already in the present. Sounds and images, events that are helpful in paving the way forward, the way to completing what you commanded, being likewise silently, knowingly commanded, though command sounds like an army language like word, it is more like knowing what to do when you hear or see the clues. Unexplainable how the knowledge is silently gained. Maybe dreams at night, maybe the random formation of sentences in your head when you fall asleep, preparing you somehow indirectly random sentences if you become aware of it. It is very interesting to wake up while falling asleep, becoming conscious of that is that is what happens when entering the sleep state of being. Does it mean that the mind has a subconscious life of its own? Is it your mind working without your conscious control, your own inbuilt support system, a knowledge that has to do with the collective subconscious, reincarnation, an intuition, a human instinct, a natural internal human force of the nature of our being? Is it strange to us, or is it us? Do we enter the same realms in dreams, interacting while sleeping, also with the past and the future? There are different layers which means depths of comprehension. Some people have a broad reference frame caused by the amount of experiences of various kinds, whereas some have a narrow reference frame to understand their and fellow beings' situations and thereby outlook and view on the world around them and human beings. The layers are related to or can be compared to layers of soil, determining how far back in time they have existed, like trees and their ring layers. I know my age, or you know your age in years, but the more experiences, the more past historical knowledge and historical events, plus religious, cultural, political, it touches upon, which revives the past in what is in this writing referred to as a shadow kind of way, in a projection onto the present, reaching into the past and future. If you want to attempt, this is what it looks like. If you want to attempt to understand historical personalities, it makes them seem, feel alive if you view them as human beings who actually live, not only a narrative, archetypes, or a legacy. Thinking about whether or not someone was good looking, what would it be like to engage in conversation with the person? How did the people live? How uh, were their relations to other people uh, related to the present? How would we view them nowadays? How do they talk? What did they mean by what they said? Quotations by philosophers that we do not have video material about. What do the quotations say about the views on their fellow beings, on children, the way they lived? Aristotle said that something we see nowadays as something for grown-ups was not child's play, which means that children were viewed differently from grown-ups, that children might have been protected from what was viewed as something grown-ups do, maybe because they did not understand, maybe to protect them. Also, he said that if you want to avoid critique, it is better not to speak, which makes me understand that what Aristotle represented was not viewed as the common way of thinking at the time, that he was experiencing critique of his way of thinking or living. Also, that people who know do and people who understand teach, which means that his role was not to do, which could be understood as doing, being busy and doing traditional tasks, ordinary jobs, traditional crafts, whereas teaching was at a different level. Nowadays, teachers teach the crafts. At the philosophers' time, they understood, according to Aristotle, some layers that the doers did not understand. The concepts were created, the thoughts were innovative, they were created, which also explains the way they were explained in writing, in a square kind of way, like bricks being mathematically added to equal new concepts. There are old plays by philosophers that ask the same questions over and over again, like what that could be to explain multiple times, to communicate to the audience, to create an understanding of the views on, for example, justice and how society was to politically be organized. When you have video material, speeches, and conversations, it is possible to analyze the relations between people and to understand communication at the time, values, trends, likable traits, norms, etc. You get a sensation of the persons inside your head, like you do with people you have a personal relationship to, which makes you feel a type of love for the people, because they lived at a time where they created parts of the present, sprouts to shape the future, which makes them seem wise, and also at an infancy level of the way of thinking, because they were creating what we use frequently as everyday language. It was not like learning something that was already there. They created concepts that we can spot in the present time, how they have shaped the present to our benefit. Also, medical science, which it is a good idea to look at once again. Did we overlook something? Did we lose some of the knowledge? Something that was initially not understood completely? Did words change meaning, and why? For example, end, when Aristotle talks about end as not the curtain fall, but the inbuilt purpose of existence. of things, nature, human beings, all to do something with deliberation, like in Darwin's Origin of Species, a positively charged word, whereas nowadays to use your will to do something deliberately is negatively charged. Why did will become negatively charged, and when? If someone talks directly into the camera, it is possible to imagine the screen is not there and feel what type of communication is at play. If you stop seeing the speech as a distant historical speech but understand it in relation to your own being, some behavior seems strange. For example, in an interview with MLK, Martin Luther King, he seemed a bit shaken. You could ask yourself why. What was he shaken by? What did he talk about? What happened at the time? Something that made him seem to have a side to him that he did not directly speak about, though communicating it indirectly. MLK was the victim of an assassination attempt, after which he received a letter from a white woman um, sharing her compassion. It seemed important, maybe in relation to the Bible, since he was a reverend. Alive to dream, I have a dream, quotation marks. What was he shaken by? A type of enlightening, a prophecy, probably not the white woman's need to rebel against oppression, against male white supremacy. What about the assassinations? Who or which organizations wanted to silence the assassinated? What did they have in common? What became the result of it? MLK, JFK, RFK also all wished to make changes. They were well articulated, likable by many people. Was it only because of envy? Did the agendas get in the way of types of agendas moving in the opposite direction?